fellow New Yorker. I don't really get to say that when talking to people in CHH because there's not many.
Right.
So I get you a little bit. I get you a little bit.
Word.
I'm in Staten Island, but man, it's good to talk to you. Your projects and your rollout and everything has been super dope. But I want to open up and first ask you about all of the food references on your project.
Sure.
Because as a man who is into the culinary arts myself, and
For sure.
As a New Yorker, you have some good stuff here. So let's kick it off with the L&B Spumoni Gardens reference on your project. Have you ever done the family style dine-in dinner there?
I have actually. And it's just as good as the pizza. I mean, they make really good Italian food there. And that's coming from an Italian guy who, Italians are just snobs. You know, they always think their mother's got better sauce than wherever they're eating. It's like, my grandma does this better. Why would I even eat this? It's crap. But no, really good food there, man. And their pizza is bar none. I know they did get bought out. So they got
changed up a little bit.
Yeah, they changed up a little bit, but their pie is still remarkable. And I will respect the name of L&B Spumoni as long as I live.
It's funny, man, because I'm not Italian, but because I'm from Staten Island, it's like I'm basically Italian. Because everybody
here, you're honorary Italian.
Everyone here is Italian, and I've been to Italy. Like I know I'm into it. I'm part of it.
Sure.
All right. So since you said about the Italian thing and Italians are snobby, I have to mention that when you spoke about the cannoli shells, you said ricotta instead of ricotta.
Yeah.
Which I know.
Yeah.
New Yorkers, Italians especially, might have had a problem with that pronunciation, but I know it fit the T'Challa rhyme better. So what do you have to say about that?
Yeah, that's really what it is, man. It's like even on that same record, Ramen and Ryman, I said Hanada instead of Haneda, which is the airport in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
But it fit better with the rhyme scheme. So I feel like as a rapper, my G card isn't going to be checked as much when it comes to food because I have to squeeze it into some multi-syllable rhyme schemes. But I think that's just part of hip hop is like, bending and manipulating and twisting words and still being able to communicate in like an interesting and fresh way. So yeah, no, trust me, I definitely understood that I wasn't enunciating that right. But to fit the rhyme schemes, you got to bend the rules a little bit.
See, but nobody would know that except a New Yorker. So I was like, I have to ask him about this because as soon as I heard it, I was like, wait a minute. Like, jumped out.
I'm not going to be rapping and be like, yo, I got to fill it with ricotta. It's just not going to happen.
T'Challa. Like, you made T'Challa Italian.
That's right.
Man, I've seen people fight over the pronunciation of things that really aren't pronounced that way. Your galamad and everything like that. All right, so the other one we got to talk about is the bagels and lox. You made a lox reference. So how do you take yours? Mine is everything bagel with lox.
Yeah, I'll do usually a plain or an everything. Or sometimes they have onion. I forgot what that's called.
Onion
bagel. The onion that's
Yeah.
But you got to go savory, And that's up at Barney. I thought I mentioned it. Barney Greengrass. That's like another historic spot. The niche there is incredible as well. Or no, the potato. I forgot what it's called. But that's like a 10 for 10 spot. Super expensive, but they get super fresh lox. It's
lox is expensive. You're not getting that in Atlanta now, right?
Nah, I'm not getting bagels down here. But you know what? I probably don't need any bagels if I'm honest. The kids gotta lay off the carbs.
I feel that.
Yeah.
All right, another one I picked up. You snuck in an artichoke reference by saying it in Italian.
Yeah, that's right.
Carciofi? Is that how you say it? Carciofi?
Yeah. Well, it depends on. Again, this is one of those things that's regional. So like my family say cacciofle, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, what? That's not even how you pronounce it, you know what I'm saying? But that's what they would call it. So my grandma used to make these stuffed artichoke, and she would stuff it with breadcrumbs. So you peel off the artichoke, and you eat the leaf.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Breadcrumb comes with it, and a piece of the heart from the bottom comes with it. So there's a lot. There's a lot of food references. I'm surprised you actually caught that one.
Yeah, you know what? I was really combing through as I was preparing for this. I'm totally into food. I get you talk about your 10,000 hours of dedicating time to become a master. I'm like
Yeah,
watching Bon Appetit, I'm watching Munchies, I'm watching Anthony Bourdain, I'm in the
that's
kitchen
right.
watching I'm in the kitchen cooking all the time. Like food is really like my passion thing here. So every
Oh,
time
great.
I'm hearing something and I'm like, I know this. And it's funny because Thanksgiving was the first time I ever made artichoke. So
Wow.
as I was combing through and I was like, all right, what is he saying with the macaroni? I was like, what is that? So I looked it up and I was like, artichoke.
That's
This
right.
is something I know. I just ate it.
That's right.
And I've made it actually 2 times since Thanksgiving.
Oh, tight.
So I was excited. And I was like, I know nobody is gonna ask Andy anything about any of this stuff ever. So
That's right.
I'm gonna
Well,
be that guy.
that's why I'm making a video soon that's gonna explain all the food references.
Oh,
So I
nice.
think we're shooting that Tuesday to like walk through all the spots that I mentioned in Ramen and Ryman.
Nice. Oh, I gotta get this out before then though. I gotta beat you to
Yeah.
the punch. All right. So you have the how you say it, a mentioned?
Afuri.
Afori. Did you get to eat there?
I
And
did.
when
Yep.
you were in Japan and what makes this ramen song worthy that he gets a name drop?
Well, first of all, I ate ramen all over Japan. And so we ate at like the most interesting spots we could find. This one came highly recommended from my buddy Andrew Chen
Hmm.
from 316 Clothing. And it also came highly recommended by Pharrell. This was actually like Pharrell's
Wow.
favorite spot to
Yeah,
eat
yeah.
at. So um, those are high recommendations from the sauce gods. And we showed up, and I would say it might have been like the highest quality ingredients that we've had in ramen our entire time in
Oh
Japan. It
yeah.
felt like the chicken. First of all, they did chicken in there. Um, they did a couple other really unique things that made the ingredients super fresh. It was like light and delectable and super flavorful, and just it tasted clean. I don't know any other way to put it, but
No, I get it. I get it.
yeah, it was absolutely delicious. The aesthetic was incredible in there. So the whole experience is just a vibe. But I mean, ramen, that's the thing is like ramen doesn't need to be a sophisticated thing. You can just get it from a hole in the wall, a vending
Right.
machine, and it's still good in its own way. So I loved it, but it also Afuri and Afura, which is a old school
Yep.
MC that I grew up listening to, worked right in line with each other on the multi-syllable situation. So it had to make the song.
Yeah, that was nice. I get what you're saying too, because I don't know if you've been to Italy, but
Uh-huh.
the Italian food there and then your New York Italian, it's night and day. It's totally
For sure.
different. And
Way different.
it's like, whoa, the ingredients, like, yeah, we picked these tomatoes, the basil, everything. We picked it this morning. We simmered it, we made that sauce, we threw it on there, you're eating it now.
That's right.
We caught that chicken this morning. And it's like, whoa. And it's like
That's
they
right.
over there, they laugh at us over here. I remember doing a pizza class there and somebody asked, "Oh, did you ever have New York pizza?" And the guy's like, "Get that garbage out of here!" Like he was like, and I
That's
was like,
right.
"Yo, Staten Island has some good pizza.
That's right.
Brooklyn's got some good pizza." And then he was like, "That's garbage," and I was like, "Well, I've had the ingredients out here." So I came back such a food snob. My
Right.
parents are like, "Oh, you want to go out to eat to the Italian restaurant?" And I'm eating there, and I'm like, "No,
Yeah.
not
Well, you
impressed."
know what? The cheese that we use, the sauce that we use, the different wheat and flour that we use
Yeah.
to make everything is very processed compared to what you get there. So I was
Mhm.
eating there. I didn't get sick once. My stomach didn't hurt.
That's how
I
they
barely
eat
gained
bread.
weight. I think
That's
because
how
we were
they eat bread
walking.
for every single meal. It's like
That's
these
right.
people, all they
And
do is eat bread all day.
all day, bro. And I really didn't gain weight. I think because we were walking a lot too.
Yeah.
But my skin didn't break out. My stomach didn't hurt. As soon as I came back and I had cheese on the state side,
Yep.
I immediately got sick.
Yep.
So I know they're definitely using different ingredients. I ate the best tomato of my life there. It was a grape tomato. I popped in it. It tasted like a grape, like it was sweet, sweet.
Yeah.
And I brought the lady. I was like, "Hey, did y'all put grapes on this place?" She's not. I said tomato, and she said, "We got that near Mount Etna in Sicily." And so what happens is the volcanic ash from that
Yeah.
volcano is what makes the soil really rich and what allows a lot of the flavor to come into these tomatoes. Where in the States, we'll grow things out of season and we'll genetically modify it so
Yep.
that we can just have it all year round. So you're not supposed to be able to have strawberries all year round, but we grow them in labs so that we
Yep.
can have them.
Yep. Yep.
And then when you crack open a strawberry, there's a big white strip down the middle because it's not a solid red all the way through the way it should from a real strawberry because we're modifying this stuff. And so I actually like that philosophy of eating is like when you eat things that are in season and then you have to
And you're
wait for
supposed to
another
be
full
eating.
year to get them.
Yep.
Right. I think it's way better for our bodies. It tastes better and it gives you something to anticipate, you know?
Yeah, yeah, it's crazy. You don't know an experience until you buy limoncello from this random dude in the mountain with no teeth, and
Hey,
and you're just like, who is this guy? And he's like limoncello, and he doesn't say anything else but that. And I'm like, I guess I'll give him money, and then
that's right.
he gives you the
Those are the
limoncello.
experiences you can't pay for right there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And you just hope you survive. And also, one last thing, because of you, I tried to chop cheese because of your reference. I forgot which track it was from Uncomfortable, but they don't.
Oh,
We don't do them in Staten Island. And I was in
uh-huh.
Queens, or in the Bronx. I forget where, and they had like a little bodega on the side, and I walked in. It was like breakfast time too, and I was like, yo, I don't care. I was like, yo, let me get a chopped cheese. Man, I know why that's in a song now. I get it.
Yeah, it's one of those things like, this isn't super healthy for me, but you gotta have it sometimes.
Yeah. So let's actually talk about music now. Like we got
Sure.
that, but I mean, I was excited about that stuff for real.
Oh yeah.
But all right, I feel like a lot of people maybe missed that Neverland and Happy Thoughts sort of connection. And I know you've got that line in the song Lost. If I lose my happy thought, then I won't fly. So
Right.
in this story, are you Peter Pan thinking happy thoughts, trying to figure out how to fly home to Neverland?
Absolutely. And that's spot on. And one of the things I think really frustrates me more than anything is like, you put a lot of thought and effort and creativity into these type of things. And when they just, you know, people don't catch those references, it's like, but yeah, it's like even the food thing, like that's the on that last record, Manja and Manja, Ramen and Ryman. I'm making so many cool references. I was like, oh my gosh, I nerd out about this stuff. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, dang, I don't know if anybody's gonna know what half a sheet from L&B Spumoni's is. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Or just like to try the Spumoni, like the actual ice cream. You got to
Yeah.
get the Spumoni and a half a sheet. And I'm like, and it's always satisfying to me when people find the references and they connect the dots. And that's
Yeah.
exactly what this is. Happy Thoughts was meant to be that, like a precursor to Neverland.
Yeah. It's funny because I didn't make that connection. And as I'm doing this out, I had that light bulb moment and I was like, oh dang. I was like, it's right here. It's right in front
Yeah.
of us. And I was like, man, I wonder how many people kind of slept on this idea. My last thing on that is, so you have sword and arrow, or arrow
Yeah.
and sword. Are feather and key the last pieces to this four-part thing? I know you have that poster, but it
Yeah.
was a poster, a flyer, and there's merch that has all four of those things. So do we get that feather and key at some point?
I guess you'll have to wait and see.
That's a yes. No. Yeah, man, that was another kind of, I was like, wait a second, there's a sword and arrows actually on the Neverland cover too.
Yeah, that's right.
Not the same artwork, it's a little different.
Right. Yep.
But I guess we'll wait and see. All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
You tracking with me though?
I'm real close. So all right, two times on this project, you mentioned kids kind of like in a humorous way, like, but like next please, like no kids. But is this an actual tension for you because, you know, you got the career, you're married, you got the house. Conventionally speaking, you know, kids would come next. Or are you so influenced by Japan and their lack of not wanting to have kids that that is in your mind state?
Yeah, nah, you know what? It just like my career. Let me say this, like I have a very satisfying life. Amongst my friends, amongst my wife,
Mhm.
amongst my career. Um, I really just enjoy my life the way that it is.
That's
And
right.
I don't feel in any rush in any way to throw kids into that mix.
Mhm.
Um, and I'm fortunate enough to have not have any kids up to this point without me trying to have kids. You know what I'm saying? Like there was
It
no
wasn't like,
whoops
yeah.
moments like when I was being an idiot kid in my 20s or something. You know what I mean? So um or my teens, honestly. So it's like uh I know there's just a huge responsibility that comes with having children, not only emotionally, but physically, mentally, financially. And if I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do something, you know, all the way. And it's really difficult for me and my wife to one, just like let go of the joy that we have right now. I don't want to create a false dichotomy that like having a kid equals
Yeah.
not having joy. What I'm saying is we're just so fulfilled right now that we don't feel that heavy need to be like we have to throw a kid into this.
Yeah.
Um, but I also know that like with my career and the stuff that we're trying to build as far as like wealth and you know I still feel like I have so much more in my tank creatively. Uh, I don't want a lot of things to shift me away from that. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And if it were to happen, if we were to get pregnant and have a kid, like I'd be totally welcoming of it. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like it would be taken care of, it'd be loved, and I would love being a dad. But if I have any say in the matter, you know, I'd probably wait a little bit longer. And you know, we just bought a new house, and we're moving into that next year. It's getting remodeled right now, and so when we move into that, I think then we'll probably start thinking about it a little bit more seriously.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's dope.
Yeah.
I get it. What you're what, 32?
Yeah.
I'm
Hmm.
32 also. I have two kids and I understand that everything changes. Like right now, I'm in my office, but in a couple of months, this is going to become my son's room. So I just lose my office, and that's
That's
it.
right.
There's no
That's right. It's
argument.
just what it is.
That's what it is. I don't have a room anymore.
That's right.
And right now, and usually I do my interviews. I try to do them after 9 o'clock when they go to sleep, because they're all over the place. They're being angels right now, which is fantastic because we can have
Right.
this conversation.
But at any moment, the door might kick in.
Oh, it's locked, but you'll hear the sound of a body
Oh
smacking
yeah.
smacking
Yeah.
against the door.
That's
Um,
right.
but yeah, man, I get it completely. I understand like how that stuff changes.
For
It's
sure.
on Arrow and Sword, you very vividly described your battles with depression, the lows of creativity coming off of that success from uncomfortable. Work in progress, you saw some of that fruit that was like kind of caught in between, right? So
Yeah.
rebounding from that, you've been able to continue to create these amazing fan experiences, marketing rollout, engagement. There's been podcasts, holiday specials. You had the challenges. So how have you, and I know you're probably still struggling with things, but how have you been able to like spark that creativity off of that rebound and just be like, yo, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Like, let's go all out.
Yeah. Well, anxiety and depression usually go hand in hand. I think
Mhm.
everybody deals with those things to a certain
Especially,
degree.
especially this year.
For sure. And different life events can trigger those things. Different life events and also just like unhealthy patterns in your life can trigger those things. And so I don't think anybody is what's it called immune to that.
Mhm.
I think there's varying levels of anxiety and depression. You know, there's like clinical I can't get out of bed depression,
Yeah.
and then there's like I'm overwhelmed with negative thoughts and it's hard to climb out of this. You know, that's a more mild case, and everywhere in between the gambit. But for me, I think I got in my head that um, I was supposed to be further along than I was, you know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? And that becomes a really dangerous game of comparison where, you can't really enjoy what you have because you're concerned about the things that you don't have, and that's why I
Hmm.
mentioned that in Always in a Rush, where I said, missing what I got for things I still ain't get. And so it's like you can have this whole meal in
Yeah.
front of you, this meal to feast and enjoy and be appreciative of. And all you can do is think about how the guy across the table got a bigger chicken breast. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I want that chicken. It's like, enjoy your own meal. And I think for me, it was recognizing what was happening with me. It was going through a meltdown at the end of 2016, early 2017, that got me into therapy, and I started just working through a lot of my crap. And as I worked through it, I was given these tools to understand myself, understand my mind better, understand my circumstances better, and my own history, you know. And with that, I think I've become a much healthier person, not only for myself, but for other
Yeah.
people, for my employers, my wife, my art has become better. And I think, it's just like anything, man. It's like you can either become a victim of something that happens to you, or you can use it as fuel to be a part of your story, to grow from it and continue to move forward. And I think that's what I've done, is just said, yeah, these things have come into my life, but I'm not going to just roll over and die and let these things consume me. I'm going to figure out how to work with them, deal with them,
Yeah.
get better from them. And I think I'm just in a healthier place than I've ever been because of that. An interesting thing that comes from getting healthy is almost this contentment that, like, so much of a driving factor of my career at one point was like to prove that I'm valuable. And now that I've done the emotional work to realize that I am, no matter what, like, no one can take that from me. It's almost hard to find that tenacity again, to just be like, I'm gonna rip someone's head off when it
Yeah.
comes to
Yeah.
this rap. Because I'm like, what do I gotta prove to you? What, I'm gonna rip your head off? Like, oh, I can rap better than you. Like, don't care. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just now trying to just continue to have fun. You got to think, like, I've been doing this a long time. So to, like, find things that keep me excited, and, it's always like I'm on this search
Yeah.
to find things that make me excited. Because if I'm excited, I'm having a good time. Usually the fans are as well.
Yeah.
And I never want to get to a spot where what I'm creating art to, like, pay the bills. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just creating um as like prostituting art, just like making art so that's like we can make the money to go and do whatever.
Yeah.
So that's not what I got into this for. So I think staying humble is another piece of that. Like, I feel like I've achieved some things in my career that I could brag about and be like, you know, inflate myself. But it's like, one, I think that's just silly because, like, what do we have that God didn't give us? You know what I'm saying? But two, it stops you from being humble and learning and trying new things and being wrong, or having, like, welcoming other perspectives that could make your art better or help you look at things differently. So I'm just trying to stay curious, I guess. My
Hmm.
taste is evolving as an artist as well.
Yeah.
The different music I listen to, my taste in food, my taste in raps, my taste in things to talk about. It's really interesting. Like, I used to just want to talk about myself all the time. And, like,
Rapper tendencies.
it's a rapper, super rapper tendency. And
Yeah.
now sometimes it's even hard to write raps because I'm like, who cares? Like, does anybody really want to know this thing? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I don't even find that very interesting. It's funny now that I listen to, like, younger rappers and, like, the stuff they talk about in their songs and how they're so consumed with what they think is such a big deal in their life. And I'm just like, I'm just not interested in hearing this. Like, but it really is it really does, to somebody else, it's interesting. You know what I'm saying? It's like certain TV, like gossipy, kind of
Yeah.
rumory
Yeah.
kind of TV. Like, I don't care. I don't want to watch it. But it scores really high on ratings because a lot of people wanna watch that stuff and
Feed into
dig
it.
in. And I'm just like, man, it's not for me. So I have this tension in my creativity where I'm like, I don't really want to go down some of these tried and true paths because they don't really interest me. I got to do what is inspiring and interesting to me. But, uh, you know, that comes with its own path or journey, I guess. I don't know if that makes sense. I
No,
might just sound like I'm rambling at this point.
no, you're good, man. And
What are you hearing me say?
well, listen, I've heard you say that you've matured and turned into probably the person that you're going to be for the rest of your life with that perspective of life, that certain things that may have mattered in the past, in the grand scheme of things, they never really did matter. You've come to this conclusion before becoming a father, which gives you a big leg up because for me, it's like, yeah, all these things matter. Then you have kids and you're like, wow, nothing actually really mattered. I had my daughter pick
Mm.
out my shirt before I sat down to talk to you. That's fine. It's like whatever. Like
Yeah,
you have come to this realization already. And I think when you do eventually become a father, when you're ready, it's just like it's going to be kind of like an easier transition of the mind where I'll throw my office away. Cool. Now my son has a room. Like those
yeah,
things will become like even easier because like you're already there. You're like,
sure.
I'm a husband, I'm in charge of my business. This is what I'm doing. And it's interesting to hear people like yourself speak about kind of that self-worth when success for everybody is relative, and people may look at you and be like, oh, Andy is super successful, he's one of the top guys in Christian rap. And you have like yourself and Lecrae and people like NF that are like the biggest artists, but even you guys are just like, man, like I don't know if that's if I'm happy where I'm at. But I'm
Sure.
glad that you were able to be able to talk that out and go to therapy and like figure that out. And now you share your experiences, and that helps other people who are listening to your music. So it's just like a cycle. It's like, I guess when the Christian rapper first starts, right? It's like we got to get everybody saved, we got to do all this stuff. But now
Sure.
what happens to all those Christians now that have been saved, that you brought in? Now they're actually living life, and now you're talking about the life of a Christian, where a lot of times those answers aren't accessible or they're not popular to talk about. So
Yeah, for sure.
I appreciate your heart on that, and this evolution in your music that touches on that stuff. I think is super helpful and beneficial and very relatable, to people more in our age bracket. It's great.
Yeah, word. Thank you, man.
So you've sprinkled in, and you were just talking about a little bit, all these loves into your music. We've had wrestling, we've had food, Japan. What hobby or passion is left untapped for you in terms of entering into your creative space?
Like, what things have I not dove into yet?
Yeah, like really incorporated in your music, or your rollout, your design, whatever, if
Yeah,
anything.
yeah. I think I'm still trying to level up my music videos and like a good guy to work with for videos. It's like we have a couple good videos and then that person disappears out of my life.
Oh,
And so I've been really trying to build that consistency with some new guys. And so like this season, I'm working with a great director named Isaac D. And Delgis Mustafa, who's like my creative director. We're working on video stuff too. And so that I feel like I've always tried to create really interesting and dope videos. And it seems like every season I've had somebody, Francis Della Torre, who was with me on Saturday morning cartoons. And then I had like,
hmm
um, We Are Films when I was in New York. And then I had, who else did I have? Oh, Marcus Tortorisi. That's what I'm thinking of. Marcus Tortorisi, who did the Doing My Dance video and dunk contest. And like we were working together, and I was like, all right, I think I found my guy. And then he's like, hey, I got to go do Star Wars commercials.
No,
I got
no
to go
big
shoot
deal.
stuff for Champion XYZ.
Yeah,
So now he's really hard to access because he just glowed up so
yeah.
crazy. And so it feels like I'm always starting over when it comes to finding people to work with on videos. And me and Isaac Dietz just put together 2 incredible videos for this last project. Always in a Rush. We did Herman Miller. And so I just feel like there's still levels to go in that. And I'm trying to reach that um, place where I want to be aesthetically and visually. But for the most part, man, I wish I could just scale what I do. I think I have so many ideas and just not enough hands on deck or not enough budget to do it. So I have to basically like I'm not like Kanye level where I could be like, yo, I have a lot of money and I have a lot of people that want to work with me, so I can just
Just throw it
outsource
out there.
and
Yep.
execute. I have to work within a much smaller budget, smaller resources as far as when it comes to people, and that just means it takes longer, it takes more time, it takes more effort and energy. And I'm fine with that. Like I'm not complaining because it is what it is. It's like you can complain or you can do what the best you can with what you got. But I do wish like me and Dell could duplicate our couple times over
Yeah.
to get more work done, because it just always feels like a race against time. So um, yeah, I
Yeah,
think
man.
that's an area I want to continue to grow in. That's
Um,
right.
and that's crazy to me too. Just talking about how I said before, success is relative. Like your music videos are very good, like, and they're well thought out. I'm just thinking, just even like you can't stop me, or the stuff you've done with Wordplay on Magic and Bird, and just visually and graphically, you had the Hear My Heart video, the one when
Kyle Detman did You Can't Stop Me, Hear My Heart. Shout out to him too.
I forget the track, when you're on the iPad and the phone, and it's just your face.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, that's Chris Ray Talley and Antonio Santos. They
so,
did that out in Korea.
so you have all these awesome concepts, and you want to go beyond that. It's kind of mind blowing to me, but really dope, because it's like, there's no rest, no rest. It's like I got to keep pushing. I got to get better. I
Yeah.
think that's really cool. Um,
Yeah, no, I definitely know that there's more, and I think
yeah,
it's just about trying to crack the code. And I've been trying to, it's the same thing with finding, like, for me, a producer, right? Like my whole career, I've never had like one consistent producer. Like I've never had my 40, you know
yeah,
what I'm saying? I've had a couple guys who have been there consistently in and out. So it was like Alex Medina, and then at one point it was Gavi, but then Gavi is like, he's in his own artist
now
now,
he's an
so he doesn't have
artist.
as
Yeah,
much time, right, to do stuff with other people. Um, and then I'm super picky. So then we got to get into arguments about taste and style. And then I got Beam, you know what I'm saying, who did a ton of my stuff, but now he's an artist and he's producing for the whole world. So, um, I'm just like always trying to piece together these guys. And I found a really great guy and this kid named Taylor Hill. We've been working a ton and he's all over my new project.
nice.
And he moved to Atlanta and it's like, finally we have a space we can work out of every day. So, he's a great dude. And, yeah, I'm just trying to find a little more consistency
Yeah.
in everything I do, because I feel like with consistency I could do even more.
You said new project as in the project that just dropped, or a new project that's coming?
Yeah, I have like the next 3 like projects planned out and like some music for a little bit of each of them.
Okay.
So
Dope.
I just work on a ton of music and then I place it
You
in
fit
little
it in, right?
pockets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
But yeah, so Taylor Hill, that's his voice at the beginning of Always in a Rush.
Okay.
I wish
Yeah.
there was more. Um,
Got to get you on a
it's on
primo
something
beat.
else.
Before it's all said and done,
Yeah,
you need that primo beat. Just bring it back to
I
New
would
York
love that.
for a little bit.
I
Uh,
would love that.
Speaking of New York, I saw you and Lecrae at PlayStation Theater on the tour with Dill and RG. What was that, 2 years ago already? 3 years ago? Feels like a lifetime ago because of this year.
Yeah.
And I know you swapped with Lecrae to be that hometown hero. And I remember you breaking down on stage. I remember it was like super emotional, and just being blown away by that. So, like, what was that feeling for you, just playing that packed out house in New York, getting to be the headliner, and doing these songs in front of your friends and family? I was actually standing like right behind your wife, uh,
Mm.
just in the back, and I noticed it was her. And then when you would say certain things, people would like elbow her or whatever, be like, oh, talking about you or
Yeah.
references. So like it was super dope, and I think I remember you just getting down like on the stage on the floor, kind of like breaking down, and I was like, wow, this is incredible, because like that room could feel it with you. Like we're like, Andy,
Mm.
you're here, we're proud of you, you're in New York, you did it. Um,
Yeah.
so can you maybe like describe that feeling that night, if you could recall?
Yeah. Yeah, man. It's like I think one, my mom had just passed. Um, if I'm remembering the timing right, and then two, it's just like, this is what I dreamed of my whole life, man. Like as a kid growing up in Syracuse, I was like, I'm gonna move to New York City, and then I'm like gonna pursue my rap career, and like
Yeah.
for a chubby white kid with glasses, like that just doesn't in central New York, it's just like it's so far fetched, but it's like at one point I was just like, yo, I'll just go to school to be a physical therapist. I'll always have like work. And
Mhm,
like just you start thinking to yourself, like maybe with my life I could just take the easy way out and just try to find a way to make money and survive.
yeah,
And like I really rolled the dice, like gambled on myself to do something that I dreamed of. And like to see it pay off, like you can sell out a show in Times Square and headline it and have like a couple thousand people or whatever it was
yeah,
show up and like be chanting your name. And all knowing that I did that without having to compromise who I am spiritually.
mhm,
Like it was super emotional, man. Like, wow. Like I chose a much more difficult path, which is to like not compromise who I am,
mhm,
like be considered a Christian rapper. You know what I'm saying? And then be in all these venues where Mac Miller and everybody else who, plays, like they play these venues
yeah,
and watch us do these numbers and have real fans and real lives impacted. I'm just like, it's unreal, man, to just think like, God, you really did this and you let me be a part of it. And like, who am I to deserve stuff like that? You know what I'm saying? So it's humbling on so many levels. And I think my whole life, I just wanted to be important, like I
yeah,
think through therapy, I realized like I was always trying to find a way to matter, you know? And it's funny that the way that I found, like, I feel like I mattered was by letting other people know that they matter. You know what I'm saying?
mhm,
That like God loves them enough to come after them and love them and care for them. And I'm going to make music that is in that vein because I want to, do something that's going to uplift people
yeah,
and point them in a different direction. And then just to see it like we're in New York, the
mhm.
place is sold out, people are like chanting your name and they know your lyrics. And my mom had just passed, and I was like, I wish she was here to see this. So it was just a culmination of all those things that just wiped me out.
That was like your World Series moment, like that grand stage, right? Like you finally won the championship. You're there. It's like everybody's there celebrating with you. Man, it truly was awesome. Like I saw that and I was like, man, like Andy, this was Andy's night. Like this
Mm.
this this was it. One of the best hip hop shows I've ever been to, and capped off by your performance, especially.
Wow.
Um,
Thanks, man.
yeah. So my last question for you, and we'll go light, not some of this heavy stuff. Let's talk about that Tech Nine posting that clip from your challenge. Did anything come out of that for you with Tech Nine or?
Yeah. So we ended up DMing and gave me his number. And a few weeks ago, I jumped on the phone with him for like an hour and we just like chopped it up, talked. And yeah, he's like, yo, bro, I'm down to do a song. And I was like, hey, let me get the right song for us. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me put something together and we'll do it. And he's like, bet, we'll shoot the video, we'll do it all. So I'm just trying to, there's a lot of collaborators who have said like, yo, Andy, I'm in. And
Yeah.
then it's just about finding the right song and not
Hmm.
just doing it to do it, but like doing it right.
And rapping
So
fast enough to keep up with him.
yeah, I'm not even gonna try. I'm not even gonna try with him. He can have that. But just want to make a good enough song that people are gonna
Yeah, yeah,
enjoy. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, man, that's dope. Final question just came into my head. If you're Peter Pan, who is your Rufio?
Rufio. Hmm. I'm gonna pick my buddy Ramar Jesse, because
Okay,
he's also Filipino. He looks like him a little bit.
okay. You gotta do a picture on your Instagram now of like a side by side just to let the people know that that's your Rufio.
Oh yeah, Rufio for sure is Ramar. He's
And
a
now you could
good
do a
kid,
track.
talented.
You
Huh?
could do a track called Rufio and have it featuring Romar, and then there you go. You've
Yeah.
completed your whole arc of Peter Pan.
Yeah. Bangarang.
Bangarang, there you go. All right, man. Well, that's it. I really appreciate you taking the time. This was super dope, and hope to speak to you soon. Hope to maybe see you soon somewhere close to the
For
New York
sure.
City area performing. That would be
Yeah.
dope.
Well, if you could, I'm not doing any shows, but if you could make sure to plug this as like utmost importance is
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm putting together my my only concert for the year. It's a virtual variety show and friends and family Christmas special. I got me, Lecrae, No Big Deal, Words Played, 1K Few, Wandays. A lot of people are gonna be there. And so I put it together like a Dean Martin Christmas special. So you're getting songs, you're getting sketches, you're getting
Nice.
guests, So we really want to drive people to that. It's my only show for the year. So I'm really trying to get people in the door,
What's
the
the date?
virtual door.
What's the date?
December 23rd. It's a
Okay.
virtual concert. Once you buy the ticket, you have 48 hours, after the 23rd to watch it. So you don't have to watch it right at 8 p.m. Eastern.
Okay.
You can watch it whenever you want. But um, yeah, tickets are on sale now, and they got all the merch bundles and the VIP bundles and all that stuff.
All right, man. Dope. Well, hope to see you soon. Maybe we could grab a slice or some ramen, or maybe
For
just
sure.
I'll bring you some artichoke, and you can let me know if it sucks or not. But
Yeah.
that's about it.
When New York isn't shut down, we'll hook it up.
Yeah, man. All
All
right,
right,
bro.
Justin. Much love,
Thank
man.
you.
Peace.
Peace.